hospital for a week and on a couch for a month before I could even do anything. And then one night I just tweaked it. I was like, fuck this place, and I just left. I grabbed some clothes, all my guitars, my amp, a computer, and I just started driving. I didn't really care. It didn't necessarily need to be LA. It just needed to be anywhere besides Delaware. And it just so happened that LA was as far away from Delaware as anything could be. There'd be no chance of me returning home.
I never knew you were so insane. Each time the story is ending, it starts all over again. You're making a move.
I just wanted to be as far away from Delaware as possible, and I knew if I went to New York I would just keep coming back. I basically needed to be in a metropolitan area to get more than, you know, the occasional trip to New York City or whatever. I just was so sick of being in a place that's just culturally dead, and I didn't want to have the opportunity to come home if shit failed. Like, I wanted to have to be somewhere where I had to figure it out, and I did. Like, I got to LA with no money at all. I had nothing. I mean, it was bad, but it got good. We started right away. I got back in mid-January. Our first gig was in March 1st. So we didn't fuck around and we started right away. It was awesome.
But when he was out in California, that's when he met Anton and BJM. That's how we became friends with BRMC and Rocks and all that stuff. So it all worked out in the end, because those contacts benefited us in some ways that he made out there.
Yep.
So it all worked out. Then we just, we started working on stuff. And originally our friend Patrick was going to be the band playing keyboards, and that didn't work out. And we just started with 4 people. And, we started playing, and that was, things happened pretty quickly for us. I mean, we really went through the Strokes like within 5 months before the band, and because he had contacts, and we were all been around the block so many times, we sort of knew from experience what we had to do and everything. So
probably the first song that got me in the band was Turntable. I mean, that song there is that's a classic song that everybody should hear, and I've always felt that way about Can't Relate and Prescription Pill. Those have always been really near and dear songs to me personally.
I think everybody knows this is rad. I want to dedicate this song to Joey Sweeney, because what he's doing here is fucking rad. Period. He's uniting the music scene. He is. It's not his intention, but he's doing it. And a while ago, he heard this song, and he was probably the first person who heard it, and he liked it a lot. And that's why I'm dedicated to him now, because he's fucking rad, and this is rad. Period. Oh, sorry.
Process alone took 4, so it's not like I just did it all at once. You know what I mean? I had a long time to sit and learn what my best stuff was, and you kind of, as time passes, you know which ones are your best and you know which ones aren't. Not just because what you feel about it, but for some reason what the public feels. I don't feel like the lyrics Prescription Bill are knocking down any doors. People really love that song as a song. It's a decent song lyrically. It's not the best thing, but it's all right. This album, I think, has got some strong lyrics in a lot of places, and I hope people get them. I hope people don't think that it's like too visceral or too pretentious or too self-absorbed, which could easily happen. A lot of the songs are so personal that they could be a little bit too autobiographical for anyone to understand or get. A lot of people might be able to grab onto them. I don't know what's going to happen. Because everything he heard, I heard, and when I heard something, he'd go, yeah, you're right. And, you know, it was just easily the best little working relationship yet. And if we could have fucking decided on a record company earlier, we could have done the whole record with him. But the problem is, like, nowadays, shit is so fucked up, it's like, you can't get a record deal without a record, but you can't get funding without a record deal. So it's like you're just sort of in this little amorphous position trying to finish a record with no money. And then you get it done, and, you know, when it came time to mix, the people that were on board, there was still like a couple other labels that were interested, but the problem is none of them, you know, the offers that were above Elephant Stone weren't enough to jump off, like to jump ship to like go to this other indie label, and then the ones who were like, you know, quasi majors or whatever, were like, we really like that piano song. Can you have more songs like that? I'm like, dude, I'm fucking crazy. I've got hundreds of songs. The band does the ones you just saw. Like, that's what we're doing, so.
Chris's songwriting is definitely more what I would call like classic, not like classical, but like not classic rock either, but like, you know, I think he like the Paul McCartney's, you know, the Beatles thing, like I think he definitely follows that formula. You know what I mean? There's like a very like simple hooky kind of thing, and you don't get like a lot of experimentation with Chris's songs. I don't think like you're not going to get like a, you know, a 3-minute bridge in the middle that goes off in some like weird like jam or something, then comes back to something. That's just not like how he works. He's very like song oriented. So I think it, which can be frustrating because sometimes like musically we want to like do stuff that's like just a little bit out there, like that unexpected. You know what I mean? Like, don't put the chorus here. Everyone's expecting the chorus to be there. Let's just drop in something else, bring the chorus back later, and let's switch up the formula. You know, and that gets to be a lot of arguments. You know, about like how far do you push making a song sound really different and still have it sound accessible and like something that people have heard before but different, you know what I mean? So I think that's where a lot of the battle in the songs lies, that Chris is like, I think of him as being a very classic, he likes like the classic songs, you know? Like I'm always amazed that he, out of all the musicians I know, he probably has the smallest record collection of anyone. Thanks, I appreciate it.
You guys are good. How are you?
The situation.
Very good.
Thank you.
Where else do you play?
Everywhere. Around here, everything.
Really? Do you like cycle?
What's up, dude? Yeah, man. You guys on that situation, I guess I'll take you over to my space. I don't really. Did they ask you about it? Thank you very much. Andrew was like me.
I am at odds with myself more than anybody you'll ever meet. I mean, at one point in time, I remember when I was in LA, I was going for a hike in Silver Lake, and I was coming down this like path, and I think I was baked or something, but I stopped at this like little piece in the road, and I'd been thinking about writing songs and shit, and I was like, which way do I go? And I just sat there like trying to figure out which way to go. That's how bad it is. It's like that retarded. So it'd be hard. I was a kid, you know, and I'm pretty, you know, impetuous. I could at any moment just like bail, you know. I don't know. But you hope for the best though, and you think that like once you get on the road, you would be able to acclimate to being on the road.
Cartridge, bud.
This is our last song.
No last song.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks again.
Still get that creative ability or creative inspiration. But he might not think that. He might think he needs to really go nuts to get the different perspectives he gets to write his songs. Sometimes I wonder if some of his craziness is because he thinks that he should be crazy. And sometimes I believe he has a rough.
Somewhere along the line, people quit taking us seriously, and because of it, I stopped taking myself seriously. But I think that I kind of needed to stop taking myself so seriously, at least for a little while. I'll get back to it, but I just needed a break, dude. Like, I was full of myself. It was bad.
Believe in the chemistry of a band, you know what I mean? I definitely think that it's always the sum of the parts is bigger, you know, because there's just something about the way like we were working together that works out, and that's why I'm worried about getting new bass players. One thing that does scare me is that you can take even something that's like small, you know, it's like any recipe, you know, if you leave out like the 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract in a batch of cookies, it's not going to taste right, you know what I mean? So you change anything, it's going to alter everything a little bit, you know? So I think it's just like the way everything works. It all.
Sure.
The situation was going to have a 5th member, and he was going to be like keyboard, sounds, you know, stuff like that, extra effects on top of our music. And for whatever reason, that didn't work out. But initially, he was in the band, and the first thing he did when Christopher started playing Cherry was he put the dancey beat behind it, and that just totally changed the dynamic of the song. Because initially, it was more like a Velvet Underground kind of strumming thing, and you know, that was my inclination, was to go with that.
This is our last song. It's called Amber Alia. don't have a last song, but we're very pleased to play for you the songs that we had. Thank you very much for the situation.
I always thought it takes three things: talent, hard work, and luck. You know, because I've seen bands that had two of those three things, and it just doesn't always. You know, some bands just get lucky.
Yep.
Because there's other bands that you've seen them that are really, really good. They got great songs, they got the look. They're working hard, but they just can't get a break. You know, and I don't know why. They should have been huge, but I think it's those three things. You know, that's. Yeah, you need someone that's going to capture the imagination. A lot of bands are lucky and they were good, but they just didn't work hard enough for it. They didn't promote themselves, you know what I mean? They got lucky enough to get signed, but didn't make the best of what they were given, you know?
I'm writing songs that aren't really of our time, so I don't know when it happens. It might happen after I'm dead. It might happen like Skip James when I'm fucking like 64 years old. And people are like, hey, what's up? Come play this fucking festival. Everyone loves you all of a sudden. I mean, I don't know what the fucking future holds, but I know that some of the songs are timeless and they're gonna ring true forever. And those ones they're what they are. I don't know how long I'm going to be able to write songs like that, but right now I know that I have, and right now I still am. That's good.
is for Joe. If the band could be remembered for one thing, it would be the public service message that Klonopin, cocaine, alcohol, and God knows what else do not make for a good performance.